happen. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. My neighbors compete to see who can put up more blinding lights. The kids all wish away the month 'cause they want presents in sight. This year had me so mad, I've been bad, got coal that is sitting under my tree. I think that my Christmas has died. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. When I was just a boy, Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am. But right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song.
It is the AEW Full Gear post show here on the Ringside Report Network. Let's talk about it.
Start.
Ooh, where are we?
I'm still dancing.
There we are.
You know?
You dancing?
Got to, after this long pay-per-view, you gotta keep the blood flowing, stay awake.
Got to do something to keep it awake here. We're past midnight. We just watched like 5 hours of professional wrestling. It was a little much. AEW Full Gear in the books. Thankfully, it's over.
It has ended.
We made it. It has finally ended.
Give yourselves a round of applause.
I mean, god damn.
You did it. You survived.
We did it.
Yeah, it's an accomplishment.
We did
it's
it.
an endurance test. Yeah. How you feel?
Exhausted. I think the crowd was exhausted too. I think they had enough. I think everybody had enough. They saw so much. There were some good matches. There were some bad matches. There wasn't anything that surprising that happened. Nothing really major occurred. One title change that we predicted. Nothing else.
Yeah.
It was a very uneventful pay-per-view from AEW.
And it took a long time doing so.
It took a very long time. They took a very long time. They didn't get much accomplished. And they really didn't deliver any kind of classic here. Like, we saw some good matches. Okay? We're going to run down the show. I mean, I might as well do it now once we're here.
Run her down.
I'm deviating from the plan already. That's how I operate. But, I thought Takeshita and Ricochet had a very good match. I thought Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay had a very good match. Mercedes Moné and Kris Statlander did very well. Very good match there. Even Bobby Lashley and Swerve I thought was pretty good. However, there were some other matches on this card that didn't quite deliver. And everything just took forever. There was no match on this pay-per-view shorter than 13 and a half minutes.
Yeah. That was noticeable. Every match just seems to just keep going way past its best before date.
It's unnecessary. You can have a 5 to 8 minute match on pay-per-view. You can even do 2 or 3 of those on pay-per-view, and no one will really mind. I don't think that the fans in New Jersey will feel slighted if they only get 4 hours of wrestling instead of 5. Counting the pre-show, it was a 5-hour program. They had 3 matches on the pre-show. This was a 12-match card. It's unnecessary, especially when you don't really have anything.
Yeah.
It's not like they have so much. They have so much to accomplish. They have so much story progression to do that they just they have
Sometimes
to.
it was like that.
Sometimes
in the past it was
been,
like that.
Yes.
It was like, man, this is going to be a long pay-per-view and these matches are going to go a while, but, they've been building some of these storylines for a while. It's Kenny, there's Brian, there's, Britt Baker.
There'll be some stars and every match will mean something. These matches meant nothing. There was no star power, and it dragged. When your shortest match is 13 and a half minutes, that's a problem. I mean, goddamn, QT Marshall and Big Boom AJ with Barbecue Sauce Justice and the Rizzler or whatever they are. This thing went 11 minutes 45. Yeah.
That's way longer than it needs
Big
to be.
Boom AJ can't wrestle. He's not in wrestling shape. He's a big guy, but he moves very poorly. QT helped him through that match that the kid won for him with a spear. They kept showing shots of this kid, the Rizzler, who apparently is very popular, but all this kid does is, be chubby and go...
Yeah.
And they just kept showing him. I'm like, what is the deal with this kid? Are we just laughing at him because he's, a chubby little kid? I don't...
Is he supposed to be cute?
I don't get what's going on with him. He seems unhealthy. I worry about the Rizzler. He's just he's just like this chubby kid on TikTok eating stuff. And you go, is this American culture
We're
now?
encouraging
Is this where we are? I don't know. It seems dark and bad, but hey, people love it. So I guess
He'll get endorsement deals.
fuck, man, the world is so
Like I was saying, where's Twizzlers with their Rizzlers?
Oh God. It was a really bad match. It was really bad. The crowd was into it. Like, they do like these people, the Costco guys and the Rizzler. They're over among some people. I guess in New Jersey, this is very relatable for them.
Yeah.
So sure. But that match went almost 12 minutes.
Generally,
That's ridiculous.
these things never go past 5.
Yeah.
These like special attraction things. Like Action Bronson didn't wrestle
Like this
11
guy-
minutes.
This guy, Big Boom AJ, is not a wrestler.
Yeah, he was like 20 years ago or something.
Yeah, but
like,
now,
yeah,
come on.
doesn't make sense.
Everybody got all the time in the world. Even the good matches that delivered were a little too long.
Yeah, that's why I'm hard pressed sometimes to call them good matches because they went so long that like it was like more moments
Yeah,
in the match.
yeah.
Like the Will
Bumps.
Ospreay match was pretty good. Like it had some amazing spots, but I'm looking. It was like almost 25 minutes, and like I don't think that whole 25 minutes was filled like nonstop with like action and stuff. Like
No.
there was some pretty long pauses or like not that much happening between the really crazy stuff. So like I'm hard pressed to call that like a great match. It had some great moments. But or like even Takeshita and Ricochet started off really great and it kept going, but then like it just kind of kept going and all these near falls. Every match seemed to have that kind of like WrestleMania-y like near fall after the finishers, you know, and like last second, and everybody kind of had those moments that it devalues it when everybody can like kick out at the last second after taking someone's finisher.
Yeah, well, there's that too.
You
I
know.
mean, just false finishes. And that's what they rely on to have matches that people pop for. False finishes and huge bumps. But the storytelling, the pacing, it's just not there with so many guys.
Yeah, pacing.
The pacing is really bad. They speed through so much. They hit big move after big move, and nobody is selling anything. And I know I sound like an old-timey wrestling guy, but, man, when you watch Jungle Boy and Daniel Garcia give each other 2 pile drivers in the span of 2 minutes, and everybody's just standing up. At one point, Garcia hit Jack Perry with a pile driver. Yeah. They were both down, and Perry got up first.
And seemed fine.
And then took another pile driver like 20 seconds later. It was terrible. That match was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. Daniel Garcia and Jack Perry are not ready for prime time. They are bad. They're green. They're inexperienced. And the fact that they're given so much TV time is baffling to me. It wasn't good. Garcia beat Jack Perry with a terrible-looking sharpshooter, made him tap out with it to become the new TNT champion. The match was poor. It was just a bad match. We had some bad matches on this show. A lot of times I go, everything was kind of okay. This was better than,
Mm-hmm.
But some of these matches were just straight up bad, which really hurts the overall grade of the pay-per-view to me. We had some matches that were very good. A couple of them bordered on excellent, but a lot of them were just flat and some were just bad. Big Boom AJ and QT, despite the fact that people liked it and it will do well for them, like I get why they did it, but it was a very bad match.
Yeah.
It was the worst match on the card by far, and it didn't need to go over 6 minutes, and it went double that. It's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. So overall on this show, we had. I'm gonna give you. We'll do the score on 10 here for AEW Full Gear because we're burying this show. It had a lot of problems. Anna Jay beat Deonna Purrazzo in the opening match on the pre-show. Buddy Matthews got a win in a pretty decent fatal 4-way over Commander, Dante Martin, and the Beast Mortos.
I like the little inflection you put in there. A little dramatic. There should be a little like
The Beast Mortos!
Dun, dun.
Da, da, da. That jabroni. Big Boom AJ with help from Big Juss and QT beat QT Marshall. I mean, Big AJ got help. Big Boom AJ got help from QT Marshall.
Should have been AJ DeLisio.
The Rizzler came out with Big Show. And AJ and Big Juss took forever on their entrance, just slapping everybody's hand ringside. Yeah. It was terrible. It took like 3 minutes just to get in the ring. Aaron Solo came out to distract AJ. And the commentary team just called him Solo. They're Solo. I was like, that's not Solo. That's not the tribal chief. What are you talking about? He distracted Big AJ, which got the ref distracted, which allowed Big Juss, the child, to hit a spear on QT. And that allowed AJ to hit a very ugly power bomb that I was worried for QT for.
Yeah.
You know, that was worrisome.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
Hit the ugliest power bomb. Didn't kill QT. Managed to pin him, and the match was over. That match was horrible. Horrible. And then we opened the show on pay-per-view with a fatal 4-way. That was not good either. It was a fatal 4-way for the tag team titles. The Private Party beat the Acclaim, the House of Black, and the Outrunners. And that match wasn't really much of a match. It was more the story of the Acclaimed not getting along and having various moments where they couldn't get it together. And at one point, Bowens had one of the Private Parties pinned, but Caster had blind tagged himself in, and there was all sorts of arguing between the Acclaimed, and that led to the match being lost and Private Party retaining the tag team titles. But it was just a dumb match. It wasn't really good for anybody except the Acclaimed. It kind of focused on them, which was odd because you're trying to showcase your new tag team champions, and in their first title defense on pay-per-view, the focus in the match is on a superior tag team who seems to be breaking up.
Yeah. And, like, this is the opener of the card. Like, I immediately felt like the energy just gets sucked out of the room, both in the arena and in the living room when we're watching. Like, I just felt myself sinking into the seat, be like, oh, jeez.
People don't want to see the Acclaim break up. Yeah. People don't want to see the Acclaim break up. Also, in this match, you need to kind of put Private Party over. Was this the out? Like, was this like, well, the Acclaimed is going to kind of do this breakup angle so that they don't lose clean to Private Party? Like, I don't know. But the match sucked.
Yeah, it was boring.
It suffered because of it. The focus on the Acclaimed and their problems just took away. It was constant in the match.
Yeah, there was
3 or 4 or 5 things that just kept happening, and you go,
just
okay.
Shove each other already.
Yeah, it's just. The whole match was about the Acclaim breaking up, and it just wasn't much of a match. It sucked for an opener, too, because the opener is supposed to be exciting and get the crowd popped and going, and instead it just kind of bummed everybody out to see their favorite tag team disintegrate in front of their eyes.
Yeah.
Bummer of a pay-per-view. Just an overall...
Yeah, no showcasing of Private Party. It was the Acclaim and maybe a bit of the Outrunners. Got a showcase.
And then we get to the main event. We're going to get to some other matches on this that we did like, but I want to get to the main event because this was also bad. And we have to get to it because so much happened after the main event. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Overstuffed.
And most of it made no sense. Jon Moxley beats Orange Cassidy. So Orange bleeding profusely in this match, like a lot of blood. It was everywhere. Moxley beat the shit out of him. Like, beat the shit out of him. And at one point, he had him, and he raked his back with his fingernails, and he actually opened up the skin and cut him with the back rake, and then Orange tried to respond with one, but it didn't have any kind of effect. Claudio and Pac showed up during the match, and Kyle O'Reilly and Rocky Romero and Ishii came out to stop them. Notice it took 3 guys to take out the 2 of the Death Rider guys, right? Mm-hmm. And then Marina came in the ring. She was going to hit Orange with the briefcase. But Willow Nightingale came out because she's friends with Orange, and she attacked Marina. And then Orange decides to hit Mox with the briefcase, and you think, oh, maybe. That was a good false finish. That was decent. And you thought maybe, but it was a 2 count. Mox kicked out, and then Moxley distracted the referee, which allowed Wheeler Yuta to run into the ring, hit a running knee on Orange, which was the death blow, allowing Moxley to hit the Death Rider DDT when someone wants to blow you up.
Not because of who you are,
but for different reasons altogether.
Together.
Moxley hits the Death Rider DDT for the win. Very weak finish there with Wheeler just kind of appearing, because you figured when you saw Claudio and Pac and you're like, where's Utah? And then there he is, just running knee, boom, and then that was a match.
It's a bloodline finish. It's a Roman Reigns finish.
Yeah.
You think he's about to go down, and then, oh, here comes Jimmy Uso. Oh, he super kicked him. Oh, no, the bad guy wins. It's the exact same kind of finish.
It was a very weak dud finish for your main event of a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It was anticlimactic, and it just didn't feel good. And then you thought, well, maybe the afterburn of this whole thing will make you feel a little better. And it didn't. It really didn't. Because after the match, Wheeler and Mox poured, like, cleaning fluid in Orange's mouth, which was horrible looking.
And I don't know what's with this, like, disregarding, like, don't try this at home kind of stuff.
Like the plastic bag over the head and all the stuff that they do.
Stuff you can try at home that they don't seem to be discouraging.
It's over the top, violent and dangerous and just unnecessary. I hated the cleaning fluid. They open his mouth and they pour this stuff in. It's like, ugh.
And he started like, and then Orange
he starts like throwing up.
Yeah, he's like Reggie. He's trying to induce vomiting because he doesn't want to like die.
Yeah, I don't know why they have to do that stuff. Like beat him up, but like, what is all this extra stuff? And then Hangman comes out, and Hangman's like, he's maybe the savior of AEW, and you think, oh, okay, this is cool. Hangman's going to come out, and he's going to beat up Moxley or something. He's going to do something. But Hangman comes out with a chair, and he nails Wheeler Yuta, and you're like, oh, shit. And then Hangman's staring at Moxley, and the crowd is, like, silent.
Yeah, him coming down the ramp, just no reaction.
It was weird.
It's very weird. It must have been just exhausted.
I don't know what the hell happened there, but the crowd didn't respond to Hangman whatsoever. And then Christian shows up and hits an unprettier on Moxley from behind. And Christian has this, like, contract. And Hangman had picked it up, I guess. And then he decides to give it to Christian and walk away, allowing Christian to possibly become the world champion right there. It's like a Money in the Bank thing.
But he has to, like, physically sign it?
But he has to sign it in order to make it official in the moment.
It's so stupid.
It's very stupid. It's very TNA.
Yeah. Is that feast or fired briefcase
This company is turning into TNA. It's more and more every day. It's bad. So Christian thinks about cashing this contract in to become the new world champion and beat Jon Moxley. Now, this is an important fact, okay? Christian has just hit his finisher on Moxley and is about to take the title from him, okay?
I was excited.
And then, so I thought, okay, Hangman, cool. This is cool, Hangman. And then, Hangman's gone, but, Christian, he's going to be champion? That's cool, Christian. But then Jay White shows up. And he attacks Christian and stops him from... He, like, hits his finisher on Christian, and as Christian bumps and slides out of the ring, he grabs his contract.
The paper goes flying.
The paper's, like, flying everywhere. It's like, how were you able to do that as you're, like, nearly dead there? But whatever.
My gimmick.
So Jay White attacks Christian, and then for no reason, Pac and Claudio attack Jay White.
He helped him.
He just helped you. He saved Jon Moxley's world championship 10 seconds ago by attacking Christian. And then Claudio and Pac just attack Jay White because...
they're violent and can't be controlled.
Because they're psychos. It was so fucking stupid. And then you go, okay, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't over. Because you see the Death Rider group there, Moxley and Goons, going to their truck that they arrived in, which JR was like, I like that they come in all driving together in a truck, very Oklahoma. And I'm like, yeah, do they also have like a strange, small, British jacked man in his underwear in Oklahoma? Because that's what they travel with, too. Because you see Claudio walk out of the truck in clothes, and Moxley's in clothes, Marina's in clothes, and Pac is in his underwear. It's just like snarling, all naked.
Tonight.
No, he's naked, basically, not wrestling, traveling in a truck in gear, which is just little trunks.
And it's cold out in New Jersey.
Yeah, but Pac is just like, whatever, I guess.
It's not like they were in Florida.
He's got to show off the legs, too, brother. Like, maybe wear a shirt and pants once in a while, Pac. Why is Pac always in gear? Have you ever seen Pac in normal clothes?
Like as Pac or as like Neville?
As Pac on TV. I don't think...
I thought he wore like a t-shirt.
I don't think so.
Undies, but he had t-shirt?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's always naked.
He's comfortable.
Basically naked. It was weird to see him get out of the truck with the rest of them in clothes, and he's in his wrestling trunks.
He just has to do it.
Does he just travel very light from England and just has nothing? Like, what is going on?
It's like a sort of never nudie kind of thing.
Yeah, he's always nude. So they go to their truck,
near nude.
But then somebody crashes a car into their truck, and the car is all painted the Darby Allin-ish, right?
Feel like,
Oh, it must be Darby Allin. And then they immediately, like, attack somebody.
Yeah.
The Death Riders, they, like, attack some guy, and you're like, was that Darby? Who did they just attack? Because they, like, dump him in a bin? And you're like, what happened there? And they're like, oh, they're commandeering this man's truck. And you're like, oh, is that what's happening? Commentary kind of had to explain a little bit what was going on.
That's despicable. That's the worst thing. They're hijacking a truck.
Yeah, so they stole a truck to escape
the
Darby.
Florida license plate.
Which is like a weird reaction, right? You are 4 men and a lady.
Yeah.
Okay? You're about to get into a truck to leave the arena. Somebody has crashed a car into your truck. You're not in it.
Yeah.
Your immediate they didn't even wait. Their immediate reaction was to attack someone that they assumed was the owner of the truck parked right in front of theirs.
Yeah.
How did they know?
Next to an ambulance.
How did they know that guy owned that truck?
I had the keys.
Okay, even if they did, how did they all come to the immediate conclusion of, let's not wait around and see who hit our car? Because his car is totally fucked up. Like, he's going to come out kind of banged up, and there's 5 of us.
They could beat him up.
No. Let's not wait around and see what happened to our truck and who hit our truck. Let's just attack someone else and steal his car and speed out of New Jersey. What? How was that all their immediate reaction? Because it's scripted poorly?
Jeez. Made up at the last second?
Oh, what do? Oh, you just beat this guy up and take his truck. Oh, okay. And no one thinks, like, won't that be weird if we don't take a beat and go, what do we do? They didn't even take a beat and go,
yeah, like, we didn't even notice it was them, kind of like.
We didn't notice.
They were already in the car. Like,
we couldn't tell who they were attacking. It could have been Darby. We couldn't tell if it was
the
the guy.
A paramedic or something?
I don't know what the hell they were doing.
They're trying to figure it out.
They attack a random guy and then disappear, and then Darby comes out of the car and his head is bleeding, and he's like, come and get me. Ah! So Hangman kind of went after them. Christian kind of went after them. Jay White saved them but got beat up by them. And Darby still wants revenge, even though Claudio beat the absolute shit out of him on Dynamite and made him look like a total jabroni that would never have a shot against Moxley.
And he was bleeding.
Yeah, and he was bleeding from the car crash.
So he was in the car. Like, usually
maybe. Well, maybe. I mean, it's not clear if he was really the driver, but because they didn't see him. We didn't see him exit the car.
No, no, that's the thing. Like, usually it's a stunt guy or something, and then he shows up, you know. But, like, that, it looked like he was, like, gushing. That, like, he actually, like.
Could have bladed. It's hard to tell.
I know.
It's hard to tell.
But it's just like, why is he?
But knowing Darby and knowing AEW, they would be stupid enough to let him crash the car and let him do his own stunt. And he probably is deeply concussed and won't be able to pull off this angle going forward because he'll be injured for the next year with serious concussions. I mean, that would be very AEW.
Yeah. That's fine.
This was a stupid-ass finish to a stupid-ass pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The match was not good. The finish was very bad. It really did leave a bad taste, right? When you end a show like this, again, AEW, you're finishing your shows terribly. When you end a show like this, you lose a lot of faith from the audience. And all of that stuff. I mean, how many guys showed up at the end of that? Moxley beat Orange. Like, Wheeler is there, fine. But then Hangman, people that had nothing to really do with it, right? Hangman, Christian, Jay White, and Darby Allin. I mean, and it all happened in rapid succession where you're like, huh. Like, especially when Hangman comes out, and then Christian comes out, and then Jay White comes out.
And you think Christian's going to be the champion?
They could have just ended it with Hangman and not done any of the other stuff after.
Yeah.
They could have just had Hangman hit Wheeler with the chair, stare at Mox, and then you're like, ooh.
Maybe he's going to join him.
I guess Hangman's next. I don't think.
I thought there was a bit of a pause, like because I think he dropped the chair, and I thought like he was going to go hug him. But then Christian came behind with the "I'm prettier." But there was a moment where he dropped the chair, and I thought maybe they were going to hug. I mean, it'd make the group more interesting.
It would make them more interesting and more dangerous, but damn.
And it seemed like the trajectory of Hangman being more of a heel. But then Jay White comes in and like does the heel move when he was treated like a babyface.
He was a babyface.
It's so strange.
But he stops Christian, who I think is a heel, from stealing the championship, basically, from another heel, the ultimate heel, Jon Moxley.
Because stealing is wrong?
I guess, and Jay White, for helping Moxley, pays for it by getting beat up by Moxley's goons.
That's so weird.
It was so dumb. All of it was dumb. Everybody's motivations were illogical. The writing of this whole thing was very bad. The writing, the booking in AEW right now is at an all-time low. It's just awful. And when you have guys like Ricochet taking stupid, crazy bumps in his match just to get people interested, you're doing a disservice to your wrestlers by booking them so poorly. Like, Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher had an incredible match. And I think most people would agree, if you're watching AEW, that Will Ospreay is a future world champion.
Yeah.
So why, oh why, on his run to the world championship, does he lose to Kyle Fletcher on pay-per-view?
Clean.
They don't know how to build guys. Which is why no one really gets over in AEW, which is why every time they bring in a star, they wind up feeling like just another guy in the span of 6 months. Because they don't really build anybody strong. They have people lose matches they don't really need to lose. They overestimate the star power of some of their stars. They go, Will Ospreay's already over. Let's use him to make Kyle Fletcher. When in reality, Will Ospreay is nowhere near where you need to get him. He's not there yet. He's over. He's a star. He's probably the best wrestler in your company and the world, but he's not the world champion. You haven't built him that strong. He's had some high-profile losses where now you go, has Will Ospreay lost momentum?
Yeah. The audience perception of him changes.
Which is terrible. This is the guy you're supposed to build to the world championship. This is supposed to be the face of your company.
For a decade.
This is the guy that was supposed to take AEW into the next 5 years. And you do him like this. Terrible. The match was awesome. The match was great. Kyle Fletcher is very good, but he doesn't need to beat Will Ospreay. Like, it helps him for sure, but it hurts Ospreay way more. It hurts Ospreay.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be
Especially
losing
clean. Like, Don Callis didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything. He shouldn't be losing big matches on the road to the world championship. He shouldn't be losing these big matches. He should be kept strong. So it's something WWE always understands, like how to keep people strong And then, it's kind of annoying on the way up where people go, man, he's strong and he wins and da-da-da.
Then-
But once they get to that point, you go, wow, he's really established.
Yeah.
They're able to establish people, and it's a formula that works. And it works better when a guy is a great wrestler and you enjoy everything he does, like Will Ospreay. Like, if Will Ospreay wins all his matches and is the top guy and, whatever program he's in, he's on top, you go, well, yeah, I mean, he's great.
And then, like,
Sure.
the moment he faces, like, off against Moxley in the ring, like, he confronts him,
You
it
go-
makes the pop even bigger because you're like, man, this guy's been on such a run. Like, here he is at, like, at the final boss, so to speak.
Yeah. When instead, if they get to Mox with Ospreay,
Yeah, be like, eh.
if they get to Mox with Ospreay, and even if they pull the trigger and give Ospreay the belt, right? You go, oh, okay, they're giving it to Ospreay here. I guess they're trying. They're going to try with Ospreay because it
Yeah.
doesn't seem like, ooh, this is the crowning moment. And it's like, oh, I guess they're going to give him a shot because they clearly haven't built him in the mindset of he's going to be the next big guy for us.
Yeah, he's not undeniable.
No. So when he gets there, it's not like, ooh, here comes Ospreay. It's like, oh, can Ospreay do it? And then if he does do it, you're like, oh, okay. I guess we'll see how this goes. It's
How
not
long is this run going to be?
Yeah, it's not like, oh, here we go, finally. It's like, ooh, okay, let's see. I don't like Ospreay losing to Fletcher tonight. I thought the match was very good. Ospreay taking that tombstone off the apron on the stairs was nuts. The top rope brainbuster for the finish that Fletcher hit was also unbelievable. Very impressive match. It's my match of the night. Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay. Despite the finish, despite the fact that I disagree with Will Ospreay losing, I thought it was the best match on the show. Fantastic.
I liked it.
I liked it.
I think...
What's your match of the night? Takeshita and Ricochet. I think the options right now are Takeshita, Ricochet, Ospreay, Fletcher, and
Mercedes and
Statlander, and maybe Bobby and Swerve. I thought that was pretty good.
Bobby and Swerve was
But
pretty good,
I
'cause had such
hated
low
the finish. I
expectations.
hated the finish.
The Hurt Lock?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But very, like, old school, like, standard kind of Bobby Lashley finish. I liked Statlander and Mercedes. I thought they worked really well together. I thought they had really good chemistry. I feel like Mercedes sometimes in her matches seems to kind of struggle to find chemistry
Yeah,
with her opponents.
that match was good.
And like Statlander, like, her and Willow had a good match. Like, she's proven to be a pretty dependable, solid, like, in that division
Mm-hmm.
worker.
That's your match of the night? Stat and Sasha
And then-
Banks?
I don't know, because, like, even though it had some, like, false finishes, I feel like it's one of the ones that feel like it didn't overstay its welcome. Like,
yeah.
Takeshita and Ricochet kind of overstayed its welcome. Like, it kind of dragged at the end there. Yeah. Mercedes and Statlander. Statlander gets 2 match of the nights for me in, like, the last couple of pay-per-views or something, whenever that hardcore match was.
They've been killing it. The only women's match on the show, it was very good. Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, whatever. She's great. She's the TBS champion.
I loved her reactions. I loved her screaming, her frustration.
She's
Like,
very
it made me
good.
believe she was going to lose, actually. Her looking like she was at her wit's end made me think, like, maybe, like, she's going to lose control, like, lose sight of focus, and, like, Statlander might get her. Like,
Yeah.
I thought
there was a shot, too, for Statlander. There
Yeah.
was suspense in that match.
they told a good
the
story.
Hurricane Rana that Sasha hit off the apron,
God,
too.
that was
My
nuts.
God. Crazy.
Yeah.
Very good match. Mercedes Moné retains the TBS
Maybe her
championship.
her best AEW match.
I think it was. It was very good.
Yeah.
I think that was very good. Again, I thought Takeshita and Ricochet was very good. Ricochet took some crazy bumps. Takeshita winds up winning in the end to retain the International Championship. I thought Swerve and Bobby was good, but overall we had some stinkers and some weird stuff. So score on 10 on this pay-per-view. Angelo dropping the super chat. Thank you, Angelo. And he wants to know what was the finish in the TNT title match.
Oh.
Oh, boy.
Jack Perry.
Daniel Garcia beating Jack Perry with like a sharpshooter made him tap out to become the new champion. That's
not too good.
It was not great. It was not a great match. So score on 10 for this pay-per-view. I'm going to give this thing a 5. I thought we had some good matches, but we had a lot of stinkers. It's not quite a passing grade. It's the Full Gear was not great. On paper, it was not great, and it didn't really deliver. You know? Some matches did. The matches we kind of expected to delivered. Nothing, I mean, not. I would say the only thing that over-delivered was Swerve and Bobby. Other than that, It was kind of like, yeah, this is all right.
Excuse me. I'll agree with you. I was thinking 5 as well.
Hell yeah.
We have a consensus.
It's a 5 on 10 pay-per-view, which sucks. I hope Survivor Series is better next week.
I'm hopeful.
CM Punk and War Games with the Bloodline. That's cool.
There's gonna be some interesting matchups there.
Yeah.
I
hope we see Cody and Kevin in that one.
And Jay Cargill is out of the.
Yeah.
And they haven't announced who's
probably
replacing?
Bailey, I would guess.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Who else? Yeah, because it doesn't matter if she's in the U.S. Championship thing because it's not being decided.
Yeah, that's Saturday night's main event final.
Yeah.
Bailey.
Was it John who said maybe Charlotte?
That'd be cool.
I mean,
it'd be nice to see her back.
Yeah, and like
I miss her.
I feel like they're probably saving her for like get ready for the ramp up to Netflix. Maybe that's maybe why they've been saving her. I don't know. Like I feel like she's been ready to go for like 9 months now. I don't know what's up with Charlotte.
Well, I don't think she'd be on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, on SmackDown, that's right.
The SmackDown in the States is still USA Network, and Andrade is on SmackDown.
That's true.
Her husband's on SmackDown, so I think she'd probably be there.
I don't know what they're waiting for.
I think it's an injury. She's still hurt.
That's a shame.
Although you would think at this point, maybe almost ready. It's been a while.
You would think. I feel, and I feel like I read something saying like.
Yeah. Well, I also read things that said Becky Lynch was getting ready to make her comeback, and
she was at the Moana 2 premiere.
Maybe she'll be the 5th member.
Maybe.
Could be Becky.
She's got some heat with Nia.
She could replace Jade Cargill.
You know.
They could do that.
Becky, we get a huge pop.
Becky with Rhea this time.
Yeah.
Becky's last match in WWE was against Liv.
Yeah,
Liv retired
Liv
Becky.
Retired.
Revenge.
You know. And, Nia, famous heat, Nia made her the man.
Yeah. I think Becky would make sense as the 5th one if she's around and ready and has a contract. But anyways, that's WWE stuff. That's for later.
Yeah.
Sticking with AEW, we're both giving this thing a 5 on 10, which is not a strong grade. His match of the night is Mercedes Moné over Kris Statlander. My match of the night is Kyle Fletcher over Will Ospreay. Bobby Lashley beat Swerve tonight, which seems terribly unnecessary. Like, why is Lashley beating Swerve? I know he's new in AEW, but come on. The match was good, though. Swerve DDT'd Bobby off the apron.
Oh, my God.
I think Bobby was supposed to hit the apron, but he totally missed and went all the way to the floor. It was pretty nuts. And then Swerve hit a double stomp on Bobby through the announce table, which was also pretty crazy. Cool moves in this match. Bobby speared Swerve through the barricade, then got him back in the ring, hit another spear, then put him in the hurt lock, full Nelson, and Swerve was unconscious, so the referee called for the bell. Technical submission. Prince Nana came in to check on Swerve after the match, and Bobby Lashley put him in the hurt lock. Prince Nana!
That's disgraceful.
How's he going to dance now? So, Swerve just losing clean to Bobby tonight. I mean, Shelton touched Swerve's foot. He was supposed to trip him, but he missed and just kind of slapped his foot, and the referee then ejected Shelton for that, which seemed a little harsh, but, okay. But yeah, Swerve losing to Bobby. Like, I get that Bobby's new in AEW and everything, but like, he's so much older than Swerve.
Yeah.
There's so much more upside with Swerve. Swerve is a former champion in your company. A win over Bobby is good for him.
It shows that it's his house.
Yeah, I get that you want to do something with Bobby, but come on.
Yeah.
Over Swerve clean? Jay White over Hangman clean?
Yeah, like there's no.
What are we doing? Like, Swerve and Hangman were the company, and they got things hot, and people were interested, and people liked them, and they're both former champions, and they're both guys that could lead AEW. They're main eventers. They both lost tonight in matches they didn't need to lose. Ospreay, too. Like, all the guys that are supposed to be leading the charge, not Orange Cassidy, okay? The real guys that are supposed to be taking AEW into the future all lost tonight, except MJF. Like, thankfully, MJF won. Like, thank God.
That guy, Roderick Strong, didn't beat him. But, like...
Praise Hashem that MJF won tonight, you know? Because, god damn, man. Like, come on. Like... Thankfully, we have MJF who won, but Ospreay loses, Swerve loses, Hangman loses, and you go, why? And okay, with Jay White, maybe you're trying to do something there. I get it. With Fletcher, you know, less, but with Bobby Lashley, I think he's hit his ceiling, and I just don't see it being necessary to beat a guy clean like Swerve.
Know, I mean, I know it's not nice to say, you know, to invoke this guy's strategy, but Vince McMahon would never do that. Bring someone in from another company to, like...
beat one of his own.
He'd be like, no, we're showing that we're
I mean, there's a reason why you don't do that.
Yeah.
You bring in a guy like Bobby Lashley to lose to a guy like Swerve to show that Swerve is better than Lashley. But now we've shown that Swerve may be a world champion in AEW, but he's just going to lose to a mid-carder in WWE.
Yeah.
Like, he is a WWE mid-carder, because Bobby Lashley is not a main eventer in WWE. He was a high mid-carder. And Swerve just loses to him clean. Bobby
TNA.
Lashley is a heel with a heel manager and a heel partner. And he still beats Swerve clean. He's a heel with plenty of opportunity to cheat, to beat the younger babyface who's over and is the future of your company and a former world champion. Plenty of opportunities to cheat. And they didn't use him.
No.
It's just fucking terrible booking, man. It's so bad. What are they doing? Tony Khan needs to get his shit together. It's fucking horrible, man. Somebody shake this guy. Wake him up. Like, what are we doing? What are we building towards? What are we fucking building towards?
No.
We're not building towards Ospreay doing shit. We're not building towards Swerve doing shit. We're not building towards Hangman. What the fuck are we building towards? We're not building towards Darby. You just had him squashed by Claudio on fucking Dynamite. What the fuck are we building towards? It's ridiculous.
Is it Kris?
And you know what? Yeah, exactly. I agree with Jon Moxley. AEW is in a bad place.
Yeah.
And it's really fucked up and it needs to change. And you know what that change is? Jon Moxley shouldn't be the champion anymore. Because ever since he became champion, the company's been in the shitter. Ever since, I mean, surprise, surprise, the greatest wrestler in the world decided to walk away from the business because he was too banged up. Ever since they lost Bryan Danielson, the company's been in the shitter. Not a real surprise there, right?
No.
You lose the best guy, and your company sucks after that. But oh man, does it suck, because the booking decisions are absolutely fucking stupid. They're not bad. They're not ill-conceived. They're not like, oh, I disagree. No, they're just dumb. Mariah May and her friend Mina Shirakawa, or whatever her name is, came out to drink champagne and celebrate Mariah's championship. They drink champagne. They look like they're going to make out. They dance. They're looking sexy. It's a good time. It's all set up for Tony Storm to come out and beat them up. But no. Mariah, for some reason, as they're dancing, decides to attack her friend Mina and is going to hit her with a champagne glass. But Mina sees this, ducks, kicks the glass out of her hand, and is kind of like, what the hell? And then Mariah spits in her face, So Mina spears her off the stage.
Yeah, that was rough looking.
Onto a thing, onto a table that doesn't really break, and they skid off and hit the floor hard.
Yeah.
And they're lying there for a while, and then Mina comes up with like blood coming out of her mouth that did not look real. I mean, what the hell was all that? That was horrible.
Yeah, it was a bad way to start the feud.
That was horrible. Why are they feuding? Why?
Is there no other contenders?
Who needed this? And Mina Shirakawa, is she the great babyface that people want to see up against Mariah? Is anybody going to cheer for Mina over Mariah?
Not. I feel like
Why
you have
would
to
we?
build that up over time.
We don't know her. All we know her as is Mariah's goon that shows up once in a while.
Her friend from Japan.
Her friend from Japan who's more evil than she is. Like, why would we cheer for her? Why? Over Mariah, who we know. And that was their angle?
Yeah.
This is what
This
they
is how
had?
it starts.
That's their angle on pay-per-view? That's their move for Mariah May? It's not Toni Storm coming back? It's this bullshit?
Yeah, like what? I thought Toni Storm was kind of ready to come back. She's been making kind of announcements that she's ready to start the next kind of like, phase of her
Unbelievable.
character and stuff.
It's unbelievable that this is where Mariah is going. Like, it didn't even make sense. Like, all of a sudden, Mariah's turning on her, and you're like, weren't you just about to make out a second ago? Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
It's the love of your life. You love each other. You're always talking about how much you love her, and then, like, what was
Just turns on everybody. That's her gimmick.
What was the rift? And I bet you we won't find out. It'll be, like, on YouTube and maybe a short snippet on Collision, and we'll never know. We'll never know.
A video package of just, like, Mariah saying, like, you're jealous of me.
Oh, this company is so bad. This company is so bad that I'm thinking of, like, not covering it anymore because it's just ridiculous. I used to cover TNA wrestling. We used to cover their pay-per-views. We used to cover TNA.
Yeah.
We used to cover TNA.
There was a time.
Let that be a lesson to AEW and AEW fans that want coverage on the Ringside Report Network. We used to cover TNA because they used to be relevant.
Kurt Angle.
And then over time, we stopped covering them because they became irrelevant. AEW is drifting dangerously towards that territory. They really are.
Yeah.
Like, we used to cover TNA. That's real. Preview their events. I mean, when Hulk Hogan was there, when AJ Styles was there, when they had the main event Mafia, like, yeah, we talked about TNA. It was cool. It was good. TNA had its day.
Samoa Joe.
Has AEW had its day? Are we drifting towards the kind of...
Yeah, like, there was a peak. That, like,
I think they've hit their peak, and now we're getting towards...
They had Kenny. They had the Bucks.
Yep.
They had Brian. They had Punk.
And now they have Bobby Lashley.
They had Cody.
When we start... about the time we stopped covering TNA?
They got Bobby Lashley.
When they got Bobby Lashley.
And he became their big guy.
Their main guy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You'll see.
Yeah. The company was unwatchable.
Yeah. And then, then it became all these guys I never heard of. It was like Garrett Bischoff show.
I mean, the Aces and Eights with Garrett Bischoff and all of that.
Luke Gallows was like the head of that.
Yeah. When the Aces and Eights kind of started taking over and Eric Bischoff was doing all this stuff with Hogan, like, everybody lost interest in the show. Like, Hogan was on that show, but it was so bad that no one watched it. We stopped covering TNA around that time.
That one good Hogan Sting?
Yeah.
Bound for Glory, like they're bleeding and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like Hogan's last real match.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was like the last death knell of TNA. Yep. It's like Bound for Glory 2011, I want to say.
Yeah. I feel like AEW is getting close to that.
If not like they're fast forward, like they're doing it in faster time.
Maybe. And the only saving grace, the only thing that might save AEW, MJF. At least he won.
Maybe, yeah.
He beat Roderick Strong with the Salt of the Earth armbar. And then he put Roderick's wrist in a steel chair and stomped on it to bust it. And then Adam Cole showed up and MJF ran away. And then Kyle O'Reilly showed up and kind of blamed Adam Cole for getting Roderick Strong messed up in all this MJF business. And it was like, all right, dude.
All this undisputed era.
Shut up. Who cares?
Like, I was so bored. I was like, where's Bobby Fish to show up and be like, hey, guys, I'm here too.
Exactly.
Where's the line?
Where's the line?
Well, like I'll take that over all whatever these guys are doing.
And that match, MJF and Roderick Strong, was not good.
It was not good.
It was very boring. It was very slow. It was just not good. The chemistry was not there.
And just like I feel like 3 or 4 matches had a spot tonight where someone got hit with a finisher, and they clearly are like they land very close to the ropes, and then 1, 2, and then they got their foot up, and they hit the rope. Like a lot of matches use that spot. It feels like there's a lot of like recycled spots. I felt like I saw a lot of the same things. Like, don't they talk and say like, "Hey, you're doing this, don't do that"? No,
Probably not.
aren't there agents to kind of figure that shit out? Isn't that the point of agents, to kind of like have that kind of organized and be like, "Yo, in this match you're working the leg"?
You would think. But apparently it's not always done that well.
Is it all Tony Khan? Is like who else is there?
They have people, but, who knows?
A bunch of glad-handing, douchebag yes men.
Yeah.
Who's going to tell him everything he wants to hear.
It's kind of what we have here.
You saw Punk this week saying like he wasted a lot of his matches in AEW?
Yeah, he wasted a lot of his matches with guys from AEW.
And,
he gave guys matches that probably shouldn't have got matches with
And then
him.
like Eddie Kingston posted, like, "Hey, screw you."
I mean,
he didn't say him, but like
He didn't say him.
But-
I figured he was talking about Hangman.
Yeah. Or Bobby Fish.
Yeah, or, I mean,
Didn't Bobby Fish
he
no
wrestled
sell
a bunch
the
of guys.
GTS? Didn't that happen? Bobby Fish did the kick out at there, like Punk kind of said it. It was it's like really, really, man.
People.
Yeah. Working with fucking children.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says now he's very happy.
Yeah, a lot of those guys that try to show up Punk, they also think that if they were in WWE, they'd be teaming up with Roman Reigns as the surprise entrant or the 5th man for War Games. They think they'd be in that same spot, except they're fucking wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Punk is a star. These guys tried to show him up, and he was like, "Really?
I thought we were
I'm drawing the fucking house. I'm making all the now that he's gone, recognize the attendance.
Yeah.
Recognize the ratings. Recognize the money that's not there, because he's not there.
And then the pop he got in Salt Lake City, which is not supposed to be like a hot town, but it was like you couldn't hear the music when he came out.
He is a massive star in professional wrestling. He's one of, I would say generously 5 needle movers in the whole business today that could actually wrestle a match.
Full time?
I'm saying, Punk, is he full time? I'm talking about guys that can actually work and actually move the needle. Like, if they show up, people are buying tickets. If they show up and are going to do something big, people are going to tune in.
So it's like Punk.
Like, who actually moves the needle? Who's actually a star in professional wrestling? Punk and Roman Reigns are 2 for sure. You could throw The Rock in there, but he's not really,
Could maybe say Cody Rhodes, but
I think
I
at
feel
this
like
point you
it's
do
getting
say,
kind of old. That
I think
his act is getting old.
Yeah, but I think at this point you have to, because there's the impact and the kind of the visibility of Cody Rhodes. He's made himself into kind of a mainstream star at this point.
Yeah.
Cody, Roman, Punk. AEW had one. They don't have him. They don't have a single guy on their roster that will really draw money.
Well, I mean,
I'm not talking about Edge and Christian. They'll draw money, but not. They're not gonna. They're not gonna make you more money in your negotiations. These aren't the guys you're gonna bring up and go, "Yo, we have him, so that's worth an extra $50 million on this." It's like they don't have a single one, because there aren't many in the wrestling business today.
No, there used to be.
There used to be more. There used to be more stars and more guys that would draw money and really move the needle and cut the mustard. Now, who is out there? I might throw Randy Orton on that list.
Yeah, I was thinking Randy. Randy.
He's a massive star. He's a living legend.
Yeah.
At this point, he is a living legend.
He's been doing it for so long.
He is still wrestling. I think you might put Randy Orton on that list.
The RKO is in memes.
You
and
notice
stuff.
something about
People
this
know
list?
what an RKO is.
If you notice something about this list, they all wrestle for WWE.
Yeah.
AEW had a guy. And the rest of the locker room's ego, I think, had trouble. Now, Punk played his role, whatever. I think the ego of the locker room had trouble adjusting with the fact that he was a legit draw, and he knew it, and they weren't, and they couldn't, and they don't know it. They don't know it. That's the thing. A lot of AEW guys, if you ask them, like, are you over? Are you a draw?
Yeah.
They would say yes.
Yeah.
And then I would say, well, look at the house. And come back and fucking tell me you're a real draw.
The upper
Look at
balconies
the
were
upper
all
bowl. Empty.
They're tarped off.
They sold like 9,000 tickets for a building that seats 16, 17, 18,000.
Yeah, it's a legit arena.
It's a legit arena, and they half filled it.
They must have lost tons of money doing
and they
that.
act like it was a win. They're going to act like it was a win because they go, oh, we sold like 10,000 tickets. That's a win. No, it's not. In the New York, New Jersey area, you know how close Newark is to New York City?
It's right there.
The population that is there, the wrestling
Yeah.
fandom that is in, like, that is the hub, one of the biggest hubs in the world for professional wrestling. And you can't draw 10,000
To a pay-per-view?
to a pay-per-view in a major arena. And they're going to categorize that as a win. Dave Meltzer will tell you it's a huge win.
Yeah, tons of 5-star matches.
They did great tonight. Unbelievable show from AEW, according to Dave Meltzer, who's probably on the payroll, it seems like. The shit he's been saying lately. Some of these AEW apologists lately, they're running out of things to say. Like, I like AEW. I want them to succeed, but you got to call it what it is. It's what it is.
Now, if they just utilize talent a different way,
Might
they
help.
might get those needle movers,
Yeah. They might be able to make some of them. It seemed like they had something with Swerve, and then they have him lose to Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, Swerve could be that guy.
Swerve could easily be that guy and was on his way to being that guy. Losing to Bryan was one thing.
Yeah.
Fine. But then going on after that, and now losing to Lashley? Now, he'll have a rematch. He'll probably win.
But 50-50 booking.
Doesn't help
Not
Swerve.
good.
Swerve needed to win. He doesn't win. Ospreay doesn't need to lose to Kyle Fletcher. He can give Kyle Fletcher a good match.
Make him think he's going to lose.
Make him come close, but still beat him in the end.
Because he's the guy.
Ospreay didn't just lose to him. He lost to him clean. Again, without the heel manager interfering.
Yeah.
Stupid booking.
Especially like Don Callis. Use him.
Fucking stupid booking. You're burying your talent. You're burying Will Ospreay. You're burying Swerve by having them lose clean to guys they shouldn't lose to, heels they shouldn't lose to, who have heel talent outside the ring ready-made to interfere and help them win. It is fucking absolutely atrocious booking.
You showed me a picture
It's
of
malpractice.
5 guys. I couldn't tell you which one's Kyle Fletcher. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
Exactly. I mean, he's a good wrestler, but goddamn, this was not the time. This was not the time. This is not when you do this for Will Ospreay. You do this when he's established. You like these guys like Swerve and Ospreay, they act like they're old vets, established, and here to just put new talent over. That's not where they're at in their career. They're not there yet. Oh, fucking Tony Khan's understanding of how to do it,
Yeah.
of how to build and how to make a star. He hasn't made a single star. Stars go to AEW to die. He hasn't made a legit draw. Not a single one in 5 years. That shows you what kind of promoter he is. He's absolutely dog shit. He will take legitimate stars and book them in nothing matches and make them look weak by giving them 15 minutes and jabronis in there getting offense on them to the point where the stars wind up looking like every other guy. Not only can Tony Khan not make new stars, he ruins stars that he signs. He is an absolute fucking idiot at wrestling booking. And that has been proven time and time again over the past 4 years. How many groups have existed and not existed in AEW over the past 5 years? How many of them have been led by Chris fucking Jericho? He's on his third faction at this point in 5 years.
I think more.
Maybe fourth. There was the Inner Circle, the Jericho Appreciation Society, and now this thing, the TV Time or whatever.
The learning
tree. I think this is his third, but like I think Inner Circle had 2 different iterations possibly, so it may count as 2.
Inner Circle, white and black.
Well, there was Inner Circle with MJF too at one point, right? There was like Babyface Inner Circle.
Oh, yeah.
NJF had the Pinnacle.
Oh, yeah.
So many groups have come and gone and have really not lasted because of a complete lack of vision and cohesive booking in AEW from day one. And he was called Booker of the Year the first couple of years because he was giving you dream matches, because he had serious talent that he could play with and give you cool matches with, and you go, holy shit, I can't believe we're seeing this match.
Yeah, we're getting Kenny.
But guess what, guys? That's called hot shot booking. And you don't do that because eventually you run out of those dream matches. You haven't built to anything. You haven't built anyone. And you get to this situation where you don't have the talent because all the guys that you've signed, all the veterans, are moving on and done and retiring and beat up and just not as relevant. And you haven't built any new talent. Nobody.
Yeah.
The only guy that they've really made into a bigger star is MJF, and he really did that all on his own. Come on. They haven't made a single star in 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years.
Everyone else was already established.
It's a joke.
Where was Okada tonight?
It's
like...
Johnny North says, Dave, SmackDown did 8,000 in a 20,000 seat arena. That's wrestling. That's SmackDown. It's not a pay-per-view. It's not a pay-per-view. And WWE, they can draw houses, John. Don't bullshit me.
Yeah. Come on.
Don't bullshit me. Come on. You know the situation in AEW. AEW's already announced that they're planning to run smaller venues in 2025. What does that tell you? That business is good? That they've made household names? That they've turned people into legit draws? That's not what it tells me. Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
We used to cover TNA.
Exactly. So AEW Full Gear, a new low for AEW, I think. Hopefully they can turn it around, man. But this was sad.
Yeah.
I'm bummed out by the
Feels
state.
like a corner was turned a bit.
The state of AEW is sad. Yeah, it does feel like, just the way they finished it with all those people here and there, and you're like, what the hell, man? It's laughably bad. It's like, this is a clown show.
Little WCW 2000.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of overbooking, overstuffed, a lot of nonsense. Then, it's over. Oh, what did we learn? I don't know.
Nothing. And what are we looking forward to? Nothing.
Less. Yeah.
Like, Jon Moxley won, right? He's the champion. Who's his next challenger?
I guess Darby, if he's healthy.
Well, doesn't Christian have a title shot? Didn't Christian hit his finisher on him?
Yeah. So but he didn't cash in his contract.
Right? But didn't Hangman hit Wheeler with a chair and then stare down Moxley?
Yeah. So
And then allow Christian to go cash in his thing? Like he gave him the contract and said, go ahead. So wouldn't it maybe be Hangman? You see what I'm saying?
Nothing's clear.
I go, who's Moxley's next opponent for the World Championship? You go, Darby. And I'm like, yeah, well, what about Christian? You're like, oh, yeah. And then I'm like, well, what about Hangman? You're like, oh, yeah. Because they did all that bullshit. And then what about Jay White?
Yeah, because he was kind of in there, too. He got attacked.
He saved Moxley in a way, but got attacked, so... Encho Contagona says they're planning to do a show in Phoenix at a theater that holds 5,000 people in February. Is that AEW or not WWE, right?
Yeah. Phoenix.
I'd be shocked if that was WWE. That'd be some sort of NXT special. Yeah. It's not good. It's not good. When they do shows like this, got to step up. All right, guys. I'll be back Thursday night, 8 p.m. for Ringside Report MMA. It's a rare week off for the UFC next week, but then the week after, we've got UFC 310 on pay-per-view, which will be fun. Shavkat Rakhmonov and Ian Machado Gary in the co-main event of UFC 310. Last pay-per-view of the year for the UFC, so that will be good. In a couple of weeks' time, I'll be back with Freddie and AJ Thursday night, 8 p.m. for Ringside Report MMA, and then back on Friday with Johnny for Wrestling Uncensored. So, thank you, everyone. We love you. We appreciate you. And that's it. That's AEW's Full Gear post show here on the Ringside Report Network.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word.
You know the drill. Hit that subscribe button. Flip those notification switches.
We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net.